Make yourselves comfortable. This one goes down there.
This one goes on the back.
Yeah, no, actually in my hands, that one. At some point tonight, give me a head count.
Okay. I will.
Quick question, are there any students of my root teacher, Wangdo Rinpoche, who have not received some of his ashes who are here? If so, please come up. I think I've gotten everybody, but I'm just checking as I wander around. Spirit offerings? Then I need this stuff. Boompa. Somebody didn't put it away right. That should be higher. Right now it's looking right up my nose.
You want to see how it is? Wait. Let me give him a...
I know enough about photography to know that you don't hang out people's noses.
Here you can see how it is.
Yeah, it's looking right up my nose. Come on,
So
put
you
it
want
higher.
Right up your nose, okay. Move it up.
Up. Taller. Exactly. You always want a camera to be just above eye level of whoever you're taking. You guys, no.
Higher?
Higher. You guys don't have a theatrical background. Come on. That's still a little low. Up. This is eye level. I want you above eye level.
Okay. This is we can move this up.
No, that's as high as it goes?
Yeah.
Okay, now it's tilted, so you're going to have me like this.
Check it. Let's see it. Okay, we set it together. Let's see. This is the current image.
You know I can't see that far.
I cannot bring it closer.
I know, so it's going to have to do if it's what you can do.
Yeah.
Next time, think of that. I also have one that goes on top of the table
Yeah.
in my bag at all times.
I also have it, but then it's also very close. It's like this tall.
Mine is, it goes pretty tall.
For tomorrow, if you give me, I will set.
We'll see if it works better. I think this is going to be okay because we don't have a bunch of books to put under it. You may. What you put in it?
Saffron water.
Okay. So I'm going to need, how many? 2. They go in here. I'm going to need 2 people of this place. Come on, I'm not going to eat you. I'm not going to do something awful to you. I just need 2 assistants of people of this place. Okay, you're one. Who else? You're the other. So when I tell you, you're going to pick these up. You're going to go outside. Which are the 2 directions you checked on, Misha? You're going to go on the back, and you're going to go on that side. And toss the contents of the cup and saucer to the land spirits, retaining a good firm grip on the cup and saucer, which come back in here and go somewhere in the back, or given to Misha or something or other. Fair enough? Now, second question is, do we take everything down at the end of tonight and put it back up tomorrow, or does things stay?
Things stay, Lama.
Where'd it go? Where'd it go? Have you ever noticed impermanence? You know how you put things in a place and they're always in that place, and then suddenly that's not their place anymore, and they're not in that place? Sometimes you never see them again. The things that you put in a very careful place. Yeah, let's get some magic stuff in here. What do we have? Yeah, let's put some of this one in. Says Mendrup from the wild Yoginis down from Kannur. Misha can tell you more about them. He's really good friends with them all. They used to spend all summer like breaking rocks on the roads so that they could in winter come to the lowlands and take teachings. But they never had any chance to do retreat because they didn't have any money because they're women. And people don't support women if they're not their wives looking after their babies and cooking for them all the time. In that culture, as in many. So I got them sponsors. And now they don't break rocks all summer. They go make retreat all summer, up in the high mountains, in the caves there. Because they save enough from their sponsorship. They get the teachings, come down to the lowlands and get the teachings from the lamas and the monasteries in the winter. And then they go up into the high, high mountains, up by the Rotang Pass, Up that-a-way, Lahul, Spiti, Kanur on the borders of Tibet. It's still Tibetan culture, kind of, but it's pretty raw up there. They don't have postal service, electricity, or internet, or cell phones. It just doesn't go up that far. So it's a great place for finding a cave and making a retreat, and there's lots of wild caves in those mountains that they use. So now they get to make retreat all summer, and they make this magic mendrup for me, which contains the energy of their realizations from the retreat. They put it into this so they can share it with people. And they always bring me a package when they come down in the wintertime. They're just going to be coming down when I get there this year, because I go in the fall after the rains are over. You can't come down during the rains because there's no roads. And you can't come down in the winter because there's no roads. So you can only go up and down in spring and summer, and then you're there. I mean, in spring and fall. Some of the last white spaces on the map. Kanur and Lahul and Spiti. You can all go up there, but it's wild. Onalaya went up there. It nearly made her nuts. No, she had to see things that are hard for civilized people from here who are accustomed to not having to die young of a cold. Hard to watch. Be glad for your precious human opportunity, where you have the wealth, health, and leisure to practice should you choose to, or to get rich should you choose to, or to have lots of babies and everybody to love you should that be what you choose. Most people don't have choices like that. Here you do. People coming in by boat, trying to get across the border to here or someplace. They don't have choices. Maybe someday they will, if they get really lucky. Choices aren't a given. Yes, it's precious human rebirth. And it's a lot rarer than you realize. And it has to do with simply having choices. Yeah. Balame Sanje Rimboche Chopalame Tamcho Rimboche Drumbalame Gedun Rimboche Chamne Kunjok Sumla Chopahabo Balame Sanje Rimboche Chumbalame Tamcho Rimboche Chumbalame Gedun Rimboche Jamne Kunchok Sunla Chopa Abo Tombalame Sanje Rimboche Tombalame Tamcho Rimboche Tombalame Geden Rimboche Chamne Kunchok Sumla Chopabu. The two of you can take those out now. Yude Ragneda Chorche Allah Jede Sepucho Pulden Boy Nam Jorn La Sundang Drupadang Sanjay Tenpa Jay Petrin Lezo Chenam Jotan So Wadebehitu Dakso Gonda Nepe Sapso Su Nedang Deptu Shiwadang Shudang Dashi Pilwe Jedu So well done. Chuku kunduzong mogombohi Dorji sempa garab dorji dang Shere senge bardu shin lapde Dedam abzan tata tusum chi Zogchen jupe lama la solo de Ergen pema june la solo de Dorji chang chitilo narudang Marpa mila gompo tatapa Na pupadang palden drupa suk Kargyu lama namla solo deb O chen lama namla solo deb Dzogchen lama namla solo deb Kaginwari lama namla solo deb Shakya lama namla solo deb Nyandu Dayundran lama namla solo deb Paul dong du jang dang yerme pa gon garab dorji jin trak pa jeti dang ni sume pa pa lamanam che tente chong. It didn't hide it. Lately, my iPad, for reasons known only to itself with its latest updates, hides the text I'm currently reading or working on. Or else I always put it in a safe place. I want to, just as I started there, talked a little bit about what a real full human opportunity was. and about impermanence. Fucking most of it's luck. Luck is karma when you don't know how karma works. You get lucky about where you get born. Hey, girls, you could have been born girl in Afghanistan. And then what'd you do? Nothing. And then you die. Yeah, you grow up, somebody abuses you, then you die. That's the life. No choice. Bad luck. However much you love the freedom of Dzogchen, however much you love the spontaneity of Dzogchen. This is from Dogo Kensi, this is the text I've been asked for. Although this isn't from this text. Keep your mind open as vast as the sky. Your heart and mind are the same word in Tibetan. So keep your heart open as vast as the sky. And your attention to the karma you create as fine as a spider web. On account of you need luck. Even your biggest problems are just shit you're making up. Oh, I'm too short and I can't do anything about it. Yeah, but I can travel the whole world shortly. And I have knee room in airplanes. Oh, it would have been easier if I was a guy. Well, yes. But it didn't make that much difference in the end anyway. I got my nose into weird places. So, pish tosh. All the problems that I really suffered with in my adolescence. With, the usual angst that you do when you're that age. And I count adolescence to about 27. So some of you may still be having a bit of it. I made them up. They weren't real. Oh, occasionally I'd run into a problem where somebody was shooting at me, but that was very brief. And didn't really bother me nearly as much as the big ones that were just made up of whole cloth in my mind. Like, I didn't like this, and I didn't about the culture, and I didn't like that about the culture. And it didn't suit me, and I didn't fit. We're lucky here. Each one of us got the luck to be able to be in the freedom of Amsterdam, which is a very free place compared to many. You can be gay if you want. You can be straight if you want. You can go check out the kink party if you want, or not if you don't want. You can be a girl or a boy. You can wear this or that. Just don't walk in the bicycle paths and you're fine. It's only one rule. Can you see how much freedom there is just to be here regardless of where the hell you're from? How many never left Poland? Or Georgia? Or are stuck and can't be here because they're Turkish and they can't get an EU visa? I got friends, students that can't get in here. Count your luck and make more. And share it. This is part of Zogchen. It's just not in this particular text. It's in another text, which is much too long for me to add to this text. So I brought out a bit of it. And that is pay attention to the karma in the practice of Dzogchen. Yes, you enter the flow, but if the flow starts harming, if it seems to be flowing that way, step out and reassess. What you might be in is an ego trip, not a flow. And those of you who are working with the flow have some idea of what I'm talking about. So this Dzogchen practice in everyday life is actually about the flow. How many of you are experienced Dzogchen practitioners? I'm not seeing a lot of hands waving. How many of you are not? Okay, we got enough to just make sure you know what the hell I'm talking about in the terminology. There's just a couple of basics. First of all, we all feel culturally as if we're in here. But all the Tibetan culture bases all the teachings as if you're in here. So drop down into your heart from your brain. You aren't really in either of the places. But if you will feel yourself as if you were somewhere, while walking about this weekend, while eating lunch, while doing things, practice dropping into your heart from your brain. It really will change your perspective on life. Those of you from a culture, which is most of what's in here but not all of it, who tend to feel as if you're up here rather than down here. There's a few cultures that don't do that. Second of all, well, where is yourself anyway? Who are you? What are you? That matters. That's what Zogchen is really about. What in the Central American lineages, Yaqui, they call totality of self. Dzogchen calls big self in Tibetan. Samyi, or superlative self, real self. Mind, your mind. That there where you're doing all that thinking as you listen. Where is it? Not by hearsay, not by what they told you in school, not by where your culture thinks it is. Where can you find the thoughts happening? First step of Dzogchen, go find your mind. Follow the thoughts home. The mind is the thinker of thoughts by definition as we're crossing languages. We're using the word mind as a translation of sem. Sem is the thinker of thoughts in Tibetan. So we're defining mind that way for this conversation, because actually all of us started out with a hell of a lot of different languages. And we're doing this in English. We have translators online to a few languages. But basically, we have to agree to our terms. Have a thought. Pick a thought. How about a teapot? Think of the word teapot, the sound of it. Think of the picture in your mind's eye of a teapot. Think of you put the teapot on the stove and it whistles as it comes to a boil. Hear the sound of the teapot. Smell the steam from the teapot. Take it off the stove and add a spoonful of flavorful tea. Now smell it. Touch the smoothness of the handle and the warmth of the body. All your senses. Imagine a teapot. Where is that? That teapot. Where is your imagination? If you can find where the teapot is, you will find your mind. Not here or there. That whole set of sensations, sounds, colors, shapes, won't fit between your ears. Your imagination is in your mind. Every thought you think arises in your mind. Find that open, vast ground of mind in which all the pictures arise and vanish. Bet you can't find last Tuesday's thoughts. You didn't store them anywhere. How about what you were thinking 10 minutes ago? Exactly, not approximately. Can't keep them, can you? Can't predict what you're going to be thinking in 10 minutes either. All you have is what you're thinking right now. Where are those thoughts? Infinite, open, empty of characteristics, doesn't even have a center or a periphery. Doesn't even have a place in the 3 dimensions that we normally live in. It's not inside you. All the stuff you can think of and imagine. Imagine one of the boats, the big freight boats that comes into port stacked with railroad cars. Like you're standing right next to it looking up. You can't fit that inside you, that picture. And yet it's not totally outside either, inside and outside. Criteria. Imagine something without criteria. You cannot put a word on it. Hard to imagine since it has no color, shape. But you don't need to imagine it. Look right through all the colors and shapes of all the thoughts you're thinking. The sounds and the textures, the smells and the tastes. Look right through that. At infinite emptiness. Vast and indescribable. Mind it is, as a word to name it, in Tibetan Semni, big mind. Little mind refers to the personality. This is bigger than the you that you normally think you are with your limited thoughts in the limits of whatever language you happen to be thinking in today. Now think what I just said in the other language you speak. Changed it, didn't it? If you have a third, now think it in a third. Do you see how the language you think in limits you to what you can think in that language? So these words of this text have been translated from Tibetan. Zogchen is the great completion. There is no completion in the 3 times. There is no completion in the past, for it is ever changing and impermanent. There is no completion in the present, for the present is gone before you can even grasp it. There is no completion in the future. Because there is no future, there is only the present. With memories of the past and plans for the future, but none of them are real. Didn't happen the way you think it did. Remember when you skinned your knee when you were 7? Playing on your roller skates, bicycle, scooter? Or an old board? Didn't happen quite the way you remember it. You rewrote it so you didn't look quite as stupid for having done that as you did. Guaranteed by now you're believing the less stupid story. Mahamudra, which is the equivalent of Dzogchen, is the great pointing or the great gesture. What we are doing here is pointing. It's called pointing out. Pointing out your mind to yourself. It's your own mind. They used to say, oh, you must keep Dzogchen secret. What kind of hubris would it take for me to keep your own nature secret from you? No. You may choose not to listen, but it's not up to me to keep it secret. Look at your mind with your mind. Infinite, vast, open, empty, indescribable, empty of all characteristics like color or shape, center or edge. Here or there is or isn't. And yet, have you noticed that your mind is capable of thought, of feelings, of sensations which, together with thoughts and feelings, make perceptions? Your mind is not a big, dead old dark nothing in its empty vastness, because it has that ability, point of potential, vitality. Tibetans talk in symbols around here. It's all twilight speech. They call it osel. Why is there a condom on my crystal? Transparent light. Don't look at those lights. That's not the deal. Transparent light is this light, this ball of light between my hands. You can't see it, can you? There's nothing there to see. It's completely transparent. And yet it's not dark. If I had a ball of dark between my hands and I stuck a cookie in it, the cookie would vanish in the dark. But I stuck the cookie in light so you can see the cookie. Good cookie, too. Don't be looking for OCEL, clear light, transparent light, to be all woo-woo and special. It's just this light right here. And you can watch me chew right through it. That in Tibetan, again, because each word contains more meaning than you will get if I just give it to you in English. I will tell you some of the translations of the big words, the main words. Rigpa, awareness. We call it awareness in English. In Tibetan, it literally means the one who sees. Tibetans are quite visual as a culture. They live on high rolling plains on horseback. You can see farther than you can smell or hear if something's coming after you. And there's lots of things to come after you up there. So awareness, actually, when we call it clear light, transparent light, by which the seer sees what we're really saying in clear speech, translated, because we're talking twilight speech and symbols there, is the vitality or the aliveness by which all entities, all sentient beings, perceive their personal realities. It's that vitality which is the ability to perceive, to feel, think, do. And that's the meaning of clear light. That emptiness, your mind has that. It's alive. It's vital. It is the nature of aliveness to make shit up, to be creative, to create, to desire, to want to change things. We're monkey descendants. We got these hand things. We poke at everything. Realize that the flow I'm talking about, Zogchen, has to do with not poking. But not sitting on your hands and refraining from poking. It's a level of relaxation. The practice of Dzogchen, where you relax past the need to fix everything the way you want it. The everyday practice of Dzogchen, in simplicity, is to develop a complete and carefree acceptance of all the arisings. To do this, you will do best to first realize that they're not real. You have a sensation. Taste of cookie. Anybody want a sensation? Pass them around. Here's more if you can reach them, so I don't have to throw them all at you. Have a sensation, pass them back. Break a piece off and pass. Those of you who got some, enjoy your sensation. Those of you who didn't, enjoy your sensation just as it is. You got a bit of saliva going that didn't get satisfied. Enjoy the most moist mouth. That's acceptance without trying to fix it. Without making up a story about why you didn't get a cookie. Or why you did get a cookie. Well, then some of you who got cookies are going to go into a spin on, oh, I should have passed my cookie to the back. I was selfish. And some of you who are in the back would have gotten into that one too. Oh, they were selfish. They didn't pass cookies to the back. Do you see how much you can make out of the simple, sweet sensation that happens on your tongue when somebody throws a cookie at you? And you manage to catch it? None of it's real. Nothing happened. And yet you could actually make something out of it and twirl on it for days, couldn't you? If you were just in the wrong mood. That's why, Zogchen. Think of the stuff you've twirled on for days that hasn't been real before. In a, oh, he loves me not. We've all had those. Or she, or whatever, it. Think of the little things you've done that left lasting guilt. That kind of twirl, when it was something simple like chasing a duck at the pond. Yeah, that's one of mine. I was 2. I was having a tantrum. I didn't want to leave the pond, so I chased a duck with a bad foot. I guess the way I got talked to and it got explained to me after that really got me. Gentle parenting is not always kind. All of that stuff you don't have to do. All of that embroidery on what happens. You can just be there for what does happen. That doesn't mean you won't have thoughts. But once you've seen for sure how unreal the damn things are, I mean, they're not made of anything. You can't use them as a table. You can't put your tea on them. You can't sit on them. And they don't even have any duration. I mean, once you've had them, they're gone. Then you have another one. Yes, you can twirl around on the same topic, making circles and circles of thoughts. But they're not all the same thought. They're new ones each time. And they're going to be based on old patterns in your tsa, which might be, I can do no wrong, and everything I do is perfect, and it's all his fault. Or their fault, or the other guy's fault. Or it might be, I can do no right, and it's all my fault. Or some version of those where you go back and forth between them. Know your patterns. Do you blame you or do you blame them? 60% of the time. Because it's the other one, the other 40. Or maybe you get creative and decide that aliens are controlling you through the fillings and you have to line your hat with tinfoil. Don't you see that that's not weirder than this? They're all that weird. This is why that carefree acceptance, without trying to explain why it did that. Oh my God, the biopsy came back nasty because I must have done evil things in past lives. No, this is what is sitting in front of me right now. Okay, what do we do next? When you go and you embroider the current situation with stuff, you never can see what's going on with any kind of clarity that will allow you to move through it gracefully. Unless you can accept the moment for exactly what it is. Never mind what you wanted it to be. Never mind what you were afraid it might become. Accept this one right now. You don't need to fix it. And all the shit you're thinking, it's not real anyway, so leave that be. Let it go natter onto itself like a radio in the other room. And accept the moment as being just as it is. This is a matter also of being open to all situations without limit. This doesn't mean you won't have feelings. this doesn't mean you won't have perceptions and reactions to them. This openness to all situations as they rise, this is the playground of your emotions. So yes, feel. Actually, emotions get stronger. But they don't squeak out the side. They go right where they are. And then they're done. Squeak out the side. How would I explain that? You know, good Dharma folks don't get angry. Yeah, that's why we have sanghas. Except, yeah, they do. Only they want, especially the Lama, to think they're good Dharma folks. They would never tell the Lama how fucking pissed off they are. Or rarely. Sometimes they do. And then you have a chance to give a teaching about what thought is made of. But all of this, the feelings feel, but they aren't suppressed or justified. Usually when somebody is having a feeling, they're busy thinking about why they should feel that way. Because that they feel that, let's say we've got two students angry at each other. And they're twirling around on why they don't like each other. So one of the best ones is because they're a Russian spy. But not that many people are so creative. I actually shared that email with everybody who was around because I thought it was so great, including telling the student who came up with it that I thought that was one of the best. Because they had two cell phones, you see. You guys remember that one? That was a good one. Still my favorite. But others come through, and it's... You think that there's a reason outside of you why you're angry. No, you're angry because somebody found your button. I have a couple of students who are excellent at finding people's buttons. I treasure them for that purpose. And your button is you. If they get you in the soft spot, wherever your personal soft spot is, and it's different for different people. You're not angry because of them. You're angry because of whatever your soft spot is. It's a hard one, but it's true. The same with wanting. What do you want most in the whole world in this moment? Not yesterday. Got an idea what it is? Now, what's going to happen if you don't get it? Anything? You get something else. Say maybe what you really want is pizza for supper. No, that's a reasonable want. Someone might have a craving. You might be tomato sauce deficient. And instead you get Thai. Okay. You might want to live longer. Not going to happen. Instead you get dying. But you always get something. Something's coming next. Let it happen. Do not judge people for having emotions. You're supposed to have emotions. It's part of that vitality of Sambhogakaya nature of mind. We use 3 fancy words: Chuku and Lonku and Truku. We use Chuku for the emptiness aspect, the infinite, vast, open, empty aspect, infinite, vast expanse of natural mind, Zogchen mind. We use Lonku for the vitality of it, the vitality of that infinite open expanse, so it's not a big dead old nothin'. And we use Truku as a word for everything that vitality does, because it's vital, it's alive, and aliveness do. When you cease identifying as what it does and identify as the pure vitality, maintaining your awareness simultaneously of the infinite openness and all the doings going on, without needing to change anything, that is the beginning of Dzogchen practice. You sit down by placing your channels in alignment. This is just to make it easier. You can do it sitting like a pretzel, who cares? But it's just easier like this. You take your eyes you point your eyes at a point 2 meters in front of your nose, let go of the point, and let your eyes fuzz out until peripheral vision and central vision are equally clear. Not clear, equal. That helps your attention relax within your mind so it doesn't point focus on what you're thinking. And then you gently open your attention wide and wide until it merges with the infinite openness of Chuku, Dharmakaya nature of mind. You identify not with Truku, Nirmanakaya nature, of all the doings and the buzzings and the thoughts and the feelings, but rather with the very vitality, which is all-pervading emptiness, in which the buzzing, flickering, sparkling movement dances without a single thing moving. Do you see that? Don't stay as little you. Move into identifying with just the vitality, the aliveness, the awareness, and let it become wide open into Dharmakaya without suppressing Nirmanakaya, the dance. That was another pointing out, using different words. Realize the openness as the playground of emotions and relate to the people with whom you relate to, whom you are around, without artificially. Don't fake it. If you're pissed, you're pissed. Don't pretend you're not. There's no reason to fake, but there is also no reason to vomit your entire guts all over them. Do you understand me, the difference? Some people like to tell you every bit of it as it's going on, all the, and then this, and then that. That's not the point. Those are thoughts. Emotions are not thoughts. You strip emotions naked of the thoughts by looking through the thoughts Only a naked emotion can be free. So you have to get the emotion naked so that you can have it without artificiality. Otherwise, you're going to lie to yourself about it. How many of you turn fear into anger because you were taught as a kid that it's not safe to be afraid? Nice, gentle society here. How many of you turn anger into fear because you were taught as a kid that it's not nice to be angry? Like I said, nice, gentle society here. So you won't be able to relate without artificiality because you don't even know if you're scared or angry. Because you're so busy flipping them so fast you don't even know which is which. Strip it naked. Get rid of all the stories around why you feel desire, jealousy, fear, anger, avarice, insufficiency, never enough, can't get enough money, time, surface area, whatever it is for you. Strip it naked of all the stories. By looking at mind itself, open awareness, naked mind, Dharmakaya nature of mind, infinite openness. Let your attention look right through the stories supporting the anger. They'll dissipate. You're left with anger or fear or desire or avarice and complete unsatisfied hunger for something, or jealousy, or whatever it is you're left with, depression. And that is the situation you sit with without limit. Accept the feeling. It's in your body. Emotions release neurotransmitters. Once you've stripped it naked of the cause, the neurotransmitters are still hanging out there. You still feel it. So feel it without the need to do anything about it or to refrain from doing anything about it. When you approach whatever's in front of you, the arising, without artificiality, without trying to manipulate it into being what you want it to, or having a strategy about what you should do with it, you're able to experience everything totally. One rarely enters into that state of experiencing everything totally, but most of you have had moments where your governor shut down for some reason or another. Might have been a drug, might have been a firefight, might have been a sexual thing, might have been driving a car really fast. Whatever it was, you may remember the edge of what it feels like when the governor shuts down. That's the moon reflected in water, which is quite different from the beautiful harvest moon when you see it in a mud puddle. Still the same color shape, though. You see, this practice releases tremendous energy. which is usually constricted, held back by the process of maintaining your fixed reference points. It's like this. I'm like that. I really am. Have you ever been in a situation where you reacted in a way that was totally unexpected to you? For good or for ill, as you determined afterwards? Rewrite, okay, your story about whether that was for good or for ill is pure bullshit. You aren't who you think you are. You made that up. You wrote yourself as a main character of a comic book or something, or of a novel, or of whatever it is, or of a TV show, or a serial, so that, I mean, it depends on what you watch most as a little kid, or read most. You're not real. You made yourself up. You're not going to be able to maintain it forever. So fucking let go and let it be whatever it is. Let the experience be total. This doesn't mean never sleep. But while you are having experiences, while you are awake, let it all be what it is. You don't need to protect something. You don't need to withdraw into yourself like a marmot hides in its hole. Referentiality is the process by which we retreat from direct experience of everyday life. There's so much going on, especially in a city. You really do pick and choose what's going to get your attention. What if you just sit there? Right now, just sit there. It's hard to be present in the moment. And that doesn't mean mindfulness meditation. That's not how you do it. Wrong end to pry up. They start with physical sensations and paying attention to those. It's actually counter. It's the thoughts you want to pry up first. See, this mindfulness meditation is really new. It's only maybe 10 years, 20 years old. They haven't had time to figure out if it works or not. This lineage is 30,000 years old. That's a nice long time to figure out if it works or not. They wouldn't have kept it going if it didn't work. I'm talking Dzogchen line, not Buddhism. Dzogchen predates Buddhism, and it will post-date it as well. Buddhism is a religion. It gives you more reference points to fixate on. Dzogchen tells you to let go of them. As Saraha said, even the jewel ornament of the Buddhas is no more real than any of this. Referentiality is the process by which we retreat from the direct experience of everyday life. Welcoming the sensations of fear with complete openness, We cut through the barriers created by our habitual emotional patterns. When you start allowing life to happen to you instead of trying to make it happen the way you want it to, it opens up. And it doesn't mean refrain from making decisions. This is the middle way. Yes, look both ways before you cross the street. Yes, it's your decision if you want to be on this side of the street or that side of the street. No, you don't need to justify the decision. It's just what you did then. To get this to work, you're going to have to let go of being perfect. That's a hard one, guys, isn't it? I mean, you all came to Dharma originally so that you could find out how to become perfect. That's the reason everybody comes to this. They notice they're not perfect and it bothers them. It is perfect. You're perfect. Exactly as you are now. Even without free will, you are still perfect. And most of what happens to us is not with free will. Most choices we make is not made by free will. Most is just following patterns. Every so often, you get lucky. When we engage in the practice of discovering space, what he's referring to here is looking at the open vastness of mind itself, spaciousness. It feels like opening ourselves out completely to the entire universe. Don't be afraid of how big it is. Or rather, be afraid of how big it is, and don't mind being afraid of how big it is. Like how big it is, and don't mind liking how big it is. Some of you will like the big, vast, empty so much, and you're scared shitless of the complex moving. This is most of the aspies in here. It's quite overwhelming, the complexity of the moving. Every goddamn leaf on every goddamn tree has its own pattern. How can you see all that? How can you be all that? Get back in the middle. The awareness itself, which is aware of the emptiness of the dance of phenomena, which dances in emptiness as emptiness and has no actual reality of its own. Multiple patterns on every leaf, on every tree. Never happened. So let it slide by or take action as it occurs to you. But the stories about why you take the action, suspect them. Look through them. Don't believe them. The stories about why you just sat there and did not take the action. Look through them. Don't believe those stories. The way you don't believe the stories you're constantly telling yourself is to recognize their transparency, and instead of trying to look away from them at infinite openness, You gotta look right through them at infinite openness. You gotta not try to shove them aside. That feeds them energy. They're just bouncing back. Or suppress the thinking. You gotta be able to think and meditate without either believing in your thoughts or your meditation. A carefree acceptance of whatever is going on in this moment. This is what's powerful. Absolute simplicity and nakedness of mind. This is the power and the ordinary practice of dropping the mask of self-protection. You see, even though you know you ain't perfect yet, because you're still a practitioner and you're practicing, you're trying to get better all the time, you don't want anybody else to know that. So you fake it. But nobody's looking at you. They're all looking at how they're faking it and hoping that you think they're perfect. They're not even thinking about whether you're perfect or not. They're thinking about whether they're perfect or not. You see how that goes? And then everybody's all stressed about hanging out in groups. Don't make a division in your meditation between perception, perceiver, and field of perception. Perception is the entire experience of thinking, feeling, and having sensations. The whole experience of this moment, we call it a perception. So there's the perceiver, you, little you. There's the perception, all of it. And then there's what you think is out there where it's all happening. It is as if when you, analogy coming, you're dreaming at night and you dream you're an old woman who has raised 9 children, of which 4 are still alive, and 3 are doing well, and 1 is still worrisome. And she has a red dog, an old red dog, and the old red dog gets hit by a car, and she and her kids take it to the vet, and there's a whole story going on there. It's a dream. It's not outside of you. You made it up, processing the dog that you saw almost get hit by a car today. Today's dog was fine, the car hit its brakes, but this dream came out of processing that whole circumstance. And you're a young guy. You're not an old woman. And you haven't had any kids. And what the fuck was that? Treat your life like that. In certain lineages, they say that there is a real relative reality. They also, and it's up for debate, others say that there is not a real relative reality. These are different schools of philosophy within the different lineages of Buddhism. They say that the real relative reality can only be seen truly by a fully enlightened being. So other than that, we all see our own personal made-up take on whatever might be a reality, which isn't real. The thing is, even if there is a real relative reality out there, something really out there that's not just your own dream and your own projection, nobody's ever seen it. Nobody can see it. So who cares if it's there? It's like, yes, there may be invisible unicorns here, but nobody's ever seen them, and nobody ever will see them, because it's of their nature to be invisible. So how does it matter that Amsterdam has invisible unicorns? It makes no difference to the people who live here or the people who visit here. Reality is an invisible unicorn. Can't see it. Nobody's ever seen it. Nobody ever will see it. All you see is your story about it. The story you tell yourself about it. Questions? We'll continue this all weekend. But what's important for the first night is a couple of pointing outs and homework. Carefree acceptance of whatever comes up. Openness to all situations without limit. Openness as the playground of our emotions. Relating to each other without artificiality, manipulation, or strategy. Remember, not poking doesn't mean to refrain from poking. Refrain from poking is a doing. Poking is a doing. Simply don't do. Surely there's questions. Everybody gets questions. Yes, they're in the back.
Can you please?
Nice to see you.
We have a microphone. Can people please quickly pass the microphone back to that person in the back with the lovely beard?
Thank you, Lama. Very nice to see you. I appreciate the thing about the beard. My name is Michael. I'm from Berlin. I'm in one of your Tracture groups. And I'm struggling with, not struggling, but maybe you can give me a push regarding this. So, the invisible unicorns in Amsterdam are completely made up. But if everybody in Amsterdam agrees to believe that there are invisible unicorns, it seems to me that that has a certain pull or like a certain societal pressure.
It will.
So
Everyone in Amsterdam believes in bicycle lanes.
So if we agree that there, it doesn't really matter if there are invisible unicorns in Amsterdam, but everyone around you seems to think that it matters a great deal. How do we relate to that?
What do you mean, how do you relate to that? You see it arise in your mind and dissolve in your mind, and there's no need to do anything about it. You don't have to fix it. You don't have to make it go away. Just sit there and enjoy it. Does that make sense? It's not your problem. If everybody wants to believe in a given culture that a certain thing is right and proper, if it offends you, vote with your feet. If it doesn't, That's their choice. I mean, in my culture, which is currently breaking into a third world country and will shortly be fighting wars between the states, in all likelihood, watching it happen, it was chosen by the majority. They seem to want to believe in anger and this, like, meanness thing that they're doing. Like, they're playing SM, but out in the real with people who aren't consenting. It's like, well, I don't approve, so I'm not there right now. And when I am there, I'm in certain pockets where that's not a big deal. And if it becomes a big deal there, I'm out. Although I will vote in the elections. But no, that was the popular vote, to go that way. Can't fix it. Oh yeah, I'll stand up and do demonstrations and stuff there, but I don't think that's going to make a big difference. I think that's the dream. And each culture has within it several dreams that could be real. You want to make a difference? Right. My teacher, Wangdo Rinpoche, used to say your greatest bodhisattva of this generation was Gene Roddenberry, who wrote the original Star Trek. Because you look at the culture that brought forth and showed among people. If you look at the current ones, they're very dark. The government has failed. Yes, you can. If you are a writer, as a bodhisattva, you can save the world. Maybe. It's worth a try. How many people here have ambitions to maybe become a writer or are already writers? You guys are the ones with the chance to make a change. Supermarket doors, cell phones, all invented by Gene Roddenberry, as well as a culture of people getting on moderately well, even though they fought occasionally. And we'll see what happens next. Unicorns are the least of my problems. But yes, I will stand up and I will take steps as a bodhisattva within politics and places, even though that is probably not the best thing for my Zogchen, but I don't give a shit. People are more important. You can't have practice without people to practice. Did I answer your question effectively?
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you.
So,
I am a writer, and voting with my feet is a great thing. Thank you.
yeah, if your country goes down, leave. But get absentee ballots. Maybe it'll come up again. You can leave or you can be in the revolution, one or the other. And I have no idea which one I'm going to do. We'll see. Depends on who I am then. You think you have a you, right? You are created by exactly whatever is stimulating you in this moment. You are creating all of that. The mirror looking at the mirror. Other questions? Keep your hand up if you have a question. Until the microphone reaches you, keep your hand up nice and high.
So, when we see through thoughts and we experience emotions, and we see that the emotions that I have all day long as I move through the world, our response is to an endless flow of happenings with thoughts sort of swirling around them. And even my perception of the emotions are surrounded by thoughts and experiences and
You
interpretations.
can't have emotions you don't have a word for in a language you speak.
Yeah. So what is even the relevance of an emotion without the thoughts, without the stories?
How do I tell you this without going into tantric symbolism? They are the vitality of the Sambhogakaya, the emotions. That's how they manifest. The thoughts are pish-tosh, unimportant. Don't really do anything and they're gone. The emotions, the 5 categories of emotion, which are an amplification of the 3 categories, and which are a simplification of the 21 categories. Yeah, you know, there's a lot of numbers in Tibetan stuff, so you can remember them all and know if you forgot one. The 5 categories of emotions, which are standardly what's worked with here, are the 5 wisdoms of Buddha nature, freed from the constraints you normally put on them. They always were Buddha nature, the very vitality of the Sambhogakaya, symbolized usually by adornments, jewelry, jewels, drapey things, silk scarves. They're symbolized as adornments. They're what keeps the infinite, vast openness. They're the music that the infinite, vast openness dances to in the continuous sparkle of the arisings. Make sense?
So then, of course, there is a response that happens when I experience an emotion, fear or anger or desire. But it is also connecting to that energy of vitality.
Yes, but your response is usually an attempt to make the emotion go away. And that will constrict around it because you're not accepting it as it is. So usually you feel anger and you yell. You scold someone, you yell at them because you feel anger to make the anger go away. Or you feel fear and you run. Or stand there, you know, you're frozen. However it is you personally usually respond to fear. And again, you can't really feel the fear because of as it really is, which is Vajrasattva, Katak, primordial purity, equanimity. Only it feels different because you're squishing it with stories and what it should be and what it is and how to get away from it. If you can get that stuff off it, strip it naked, both fear and anger arise as primordial purity, Katak, symbolized by Vajrasattva in the eastern direction. Because this is all written in symbols. And a total equanimity in a blissful, delightful way is the only way I can describe it. You got to try it.
I definitely will. Thank you.
Other questions here?
Thank you so much, Lama Lena, and thank you so much for your presence in the Netherlands. I have a question. You just talked about the Dzogchen practice, and it seems from me, my understanding is you look through the thoughts, emotions, sensations, and free from them. On the other hand, in modern society, we have those kind of psychological works, treatment, inner gate works, or shadow works, that is helping us to change our pattern, to enjoy
To change your what?
thinking pattern or our reactive pattern to a certain
Pattern. What's the pattern?
pattern.
Pattern, thank you.
Sorry, English is not my native. So Yeah, so these are efforts seems to be creating a better dream for us to live in. And my current understanding is we can go proceed with practicing Dzogchen, but still putting efforts on those psychological improvement. But I realized after your teaching,
What would be a psychological improvement? Give me a simple example.
for example, many people have their emotional reaction to a certain fact because of their childhood trauma or
Okay,
because
the
of,
PTSD.
yeah, or like
traumatic
previous
stuff.
experiences.
Zogchen is excellent on that, but it's not fast. EMDR, somatic work, these others are actually faster on trauma if they work for you. They work for many people, and I've even had a EMDR therapist out to work with the Tibetans out in Asia who had escaped, and had past trauma from just getting away from the Chinese and losing their entire everything, coming over the mountain. It helped. I know one who, only using the Tibetans, completely freed themselves from more trauma than I can imagine. I know her stories. All her family died. Everyone died in front of her, in her arms. And then other things happened later, and other things happened, and she's completely free. There's no trauma on her, and she's full of feelings and alive, more alive than anybody I know, even though she's pushing on towards 100. So I know Dzogchen works. I know it works all the way. I haven't seen anyone get all the way free using Western methods, although I have seen people get free of a particular funk, a particular thing that was bothering them. So yes, I think they can be worked in tandem, but I think you want to keep there's a difference on how far they go. But I've got nothing against slapping a bandage on to stop the bleeding with first aid. Some people are just almost bleeding out from their trauma. Yeah, your stuff is faster. Or rather, Western stuff is faster. It's not specifically yours. But I think you have some training in it from the way you spoke of it.
Is the only difference the speed, or Dzogchen goes deeper?
Dzogchen goes deeper and further, and half the people here or anywhere are dealing with trauma from a past life, which is hard to address in Western modalities because they don't recognize it. Whereas we have tantric modalities to address that, which are done together with Dzogchen. Dzogchen is often practiced together with Tantra because Tantra is sneaky. Dzogchen's direct, but if you can't make it work right away, sometimes it's better to sneak around behind yourself and stick it in. It goes in better. So Tantra, using symbols, gets to your subconscious and flows right under your conscious resistance. And using symbols shows you the pattern, making directly doing it more easy. Other questions here? Pass the mic. Keep the hand up until the mic reaches you, because people won't know, still who you are. Not everybody looked behind them. Thank you.
Thank you. Well, I once had an experience when I was taking driving lessons, and when I made an error, then I got in a stress, and it continued. So when I had to do my exam, I went to my doctor, and he gave me beta blocker. You know beta blocker?
Yes.
Yeah. And then when I drove and I made an error, the stress came, but then my heart didn't go along with it. So it dissolved. So I wonder what is the influence of the heart in these.
In Tibetan, the word for heart and the word for mind are almost like synonymous. You can say one or the other. Sem or Ning. Also, what beta blockers do is not just on your heart. They affect pretty much your entire system here. Beta blockers keep your body from reacting to your emotions. Keep the neurotransmitters from making the reaction, so that although circumstances cause them to arise, it's not like a tranquilizer where you don't feel them, but it shortens them and your body doesn't feel them. So it makes them like thoughts. It's why I won't take beta blockers for blood pressure. I take something else. Because, I'm old enough that my vascular system got kind of worn out. Because I don't want to fuck with my emotions, but they're useful if you have to do something like that.
Yeah.
To keep it out of your body so your hands won't shake and all of that stuff. It keeps you from setting off the adrenaline, too.
Well, in the pharmacy, they told me they very often prescribe this for exam. I didn't know that, but...
they're being sensible. It's excellent for that.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't make you foggy.
Yeah.
It just keeps your body from reacting. However, it does not go well with working with emotions in the Dzogchen method. So you should probably use it just for exams rather than if you decide to do that retreat. And if you're on that for your blood pressure and you decide to do that retreat, you get your doctor to switch your blood pressure meds temporarily.
Yeah. Okay, thank you.
Other questions? Okay, then I think we may be complete for this evening if no one has a question. Do you understand your homework? Carefree acceptance of whatever comes next. Like, we're going to walk out of here. Let's see what happens. Not making decisions. You can decide to turn left or right. Don't listen to why. Walk out of here looking through the thoughts at mind itself, natural mind, Great Mother Ocean, Dharma, Kaya, George, whatever you want to call it, Tawa. What I pointed at, the big empty. And do what you're going to do, what you want to do. It's okay to do what you want. But as you make your decisions, turn left, turn right, go for dinner here, go home and make dinner, gonna do this, gonna do that. As this happens, as you do this, whatever comes up, you know how you usually second guess every decision you make? Like, you make a decision and then, gee, I wonder if that was the right thing to do, and you go blah, blah on it. Don't do that. Look through that at natural mind if it starts happening. And just wait with curiosity to see what comes. Maybe nothing will come. Maybe something will come. Maybe you'll feel something. Maybe you won't. You're not always in peak emotions. You know, it's not always like that. Some things are quite bland, and other things are quite spicy for you.
Can I ask a question? Is it,
Please give him the microphone.
I have always, let's say, some things I want to do in a day. You know, I want to do my practice always. It's for me. It's always very important. So now I leave together with my friends. They are staying with me, and I notice already that I think, when I am going to do my practice this evening, because they stay in my meditation room, so should I do it in the living room or in the
How about you wait and see where you
Yeah,
do
yeah.
it?
But yeah, but that's what you mean. So
Yep,
oh,
that's
okay,
what
okay.
I mean.
Okay, 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 okay.
Let her have it too.
Yeah, I have a follow-up question on that because I feel like when you're so accepting for like let things come, because of practice, I have it kind of as a side effect that I cannot make plans anymore. I feel, at least it feels for me like a side effect of the practice.
I make plans to travel all over the world,
Yeah, me too.
but I just don't believe in them.
Okay.
You can make plans, just don't believe that they're going to come to pass the way you planned them. This is not the lecture I planned for tonight. It never is. I always plan one. I never give it.
Okay, right.
I'm okay with that. Planning one seems to put me in the right mood for teaching, even though when I get there and I meet the people, that's not what I want to say to them. This is what I want to say to them, which is also quite fine, so no problem with plans, just don't invest in them.
Mm-hmm. And then another side effect is that I get kind of passive. Like when there might be kind of emotional situations, it's like I'm not interested or I'm not engaging.
Why aren't you engaging with emotions?
Well, maybe with emotions, yes, but when other people are having big emotions, it's like, oh yeah, just let's wait and see or something.
Does that bother the other people around you?
It bothers me.
Why?
I'm not sure.
You might... And I don't think you'll ever get it by thinking about it either. So, if somebody has a big emotion around you, what emotions do you feel?
Well, usually the other person's emotions.
Think.
Sorry, the other one is out of battery now.
Oh. Well, we'll be done soon. This is on. This is the end. I think that you need to practice working with emotions as a retreat or as a practice. You need to learn it. Am I teaching it any place, guys, this year? Well, maybe next year we'll do a retreat on it. It's a good one. I do also do online retreats on it. So that would be in the winter. Highly recommend it rather than something I can unravel for you now.
Right now.
What's happening is you are tripping over your own emotions involving other people's emotions.
Yeah, I think so.
So you're running into resistance and squishing and constrictions. And if we can get those off, but that takes a whole set of concerted practice that takes a few days. It's not like I can
Yeah.
do it now in 5 minutes.
Okay, thank you.
So invited to that retreat. Was there anyone else about the homework? You know what you're supposed to do is walk out of here just being kind of open to circumstances. Without hiding from life, from feelings, but without also trying to poke it and get it to do something. Like, you go to the zoo and the animals are sleeping, and you sort of tap on the glass so they'll go do something. And don't poke it either. Just see what it do. Okay?
That means that means like not going to Google Maps and look where is the next cafe, which
No.
no.
You can decide to go to Google Maps and look where's the next cafe because you want a cafe and you're going to go do that. But if the next cafe turns out to be a bar, okay, I guess this is what came of my going to Google Maps and doing that. Or it turns out to be closed, then you look around and next door is something else, a coffee shop. Okay, I guess I'm going into a coffee shop.
Yes.
You just sort of
Thank you.
let it go the way it will, but go ahead and make decisions.
You're right.
Just try not to throw anything back
Sense.
unless you perceive it to be dangerous. No walking in bicycle lanes. Sorry, I'm terrified of Amsterdam bicycle lanes. I got a new phobia. When I find the bicycle lane, I stand there and I'm like, and if I can see one anywhere, I don't move. Actually, that's sensible for a tourist. I have almost been run over a few times, the first few times I was up here. Ge wadi nyur duda che che sala go pa shug. And I can leave stuff? And yes for tonight. What we talked about. Come here. You can invite whoever wants to come. Really, I don't care. Just don't. Like, I don't want everybody, but we can do a lot of people. Oh, the microphone. She's learning that I will walk off with the microphone.